All of today's think tanks originate from the Committee of 300 and include the Round Table, the CFR Council on Foreign Relations, the United Nations, the Bilderbergs, the Club of Rome, the RIIA, and the Trilateral Commission founded by David Rockefeller. Since the British colonization of America, many powerful American families have formed secret societies that cooperate with the black nobility, like the Skull and Bones fraternity at Yale University, which is rooted in German Freemasonry. Its exclusive members are some of America's most powerful and wealthy men, including 2 United States presidents, President George W. Bush and his father, President George Herbert Walker Bush. Historically, a series of powerful invaders, the Philistines, Assyrians, Babylonians, and Persians, conquered the land of Canaan, which the Hebrews called Israel. The Hebrew tribes of Manasseh and Dan joined forces and became the Macedonians, or Macedonians. They fled to Greece with their gold and their riches. They wore white kilts like the Egyptian pharaohs, played goatskin bagpipes, adopted the Greek culture, and settled along the river Danube, which they named after the tribe of Dan. By 322 BC, their leader, Alexander the Great, reconquered Egypt and appointed his general, Ptolemy I, as the new Hebrew pharaoh of Egypt.
When I started researching the nature of this Orwellian manipulation, it became clear that there are a network of interbreeding bloodlines. What I call and what they call themselves, the Illuminati, which comes from the illuminated ones, have come through history. And as people began to reject overt, in-your-face dictatorship, they became the people who ran the system. You can look at the Bush family, and they are absolutely Illuminati. As presidents of the United States go, Father George Bush, I mean not the idiot's son, but Father George Bush, is higher in the Illuminati than most of them. The British royal family are one of the Illuminati bloodlines. It's all about genetics to these people. They're like horse breeders. Diana basically called herself the Windsor's brood mare. She was brought into the web merely to be the vehicle to give birth to William. What the Illuminati bloodlines really are. They are vehicles for other dimensional entities to manipulate this reality. These entities, many of which take a reptilian outer form, are manipulating this world through these Illuminati bloodlines. When I introduce something like these Illuminati bloodlines are based on a reptilian, non-human race, people find it fantastic. Of course it is, because it is so different from the reality and ways of the world that they have grown up believing in. The mainstream media, they want to report, because it's funny, that I am saying these bloodlines are reptilian. But when I'm talking about this stuff, when I try to get in more background, of course the media's going, oh no mate, can't talk about that.
We are obsessed with genetics. Why do you think the UK government want everyone's DNA?
It's all about frequency compatibility, vibrational compatibility. If you are in a human body and you're vibrating to a certain frequency, and here someone wants to possess that body and it's vibrating to a very, very different frequency, it's very difficult to make that connection and therefore take over the mental and emotional faculties of that human body, if you like. If you can create a genetic hybrid, then that vibrational compatibility becomes very much closer and therefore very much more effective in terms of possession. So what has happened is that there's been this interbreeding which created these hybrid bloodlines, and this is the origin of the divine right to rule. The divine right to rule, what is that? It's the right to rule because of your bloodline, because of your DNA. So these hybrids became known, and they're known in history as the demigods, part human, part god. So the gods were just other dimensional entities. And they became the kings, the queens, and the emperors of the ancient world, who claimed this right because of their special bloodline. And so in ancient China, the emperors claimed the right to be emperor because of their connection and their descendants from the serpent gods, etc. You find this all over the world. Now, as these bloodlines expanded across the world and interbred more and more, so this bloodline expanded its power. And just down the road from here, actually, from where we're sitting, probably 5 minutes in a car, is Buckingham Palace, and there sits the head of state in Britain in the 21st century, who is only there because of her DNA. It's still going on today. But what happened is, when royal control by royal dictatorship started to be resisted by the people, and the royal dictatorship started to fall, what happened is these bloodlines moved out of overt royal dictatorship. They're still in there with the Windsors in Britain and the Spanish royal family and all these others. But they moved then into what I call the dark suit professions, as they've become. They moved into politics, they moved into banking and business and all that stuff. They were in there anyway, but they moved in much more powerfully. So when you look at the transnational corporations and the major, most powerful and influential politicians and those that control the oil cartel and the drug cartel and all the rest of it, you're looking at this hybrid bloodline. Now, they have used things over the years, like the Mormon genetic library and the genealogical library, to follow the bloodline. And if you do that, you know what you're doing, you know what you're looking for. You can tell who's got this hybrid and who hasn't, because there are those who are really the elite, who pass over the bloodline from generation to generation. You don't have to go looking for them; they know who they are. But there's others out in the population who also have this bloodline. In effect, it's a software program, if you want to see the body as a computer, as I do. And you want to know who they are, because if you've got this bloodline, it's like a computer program, or a computer, in the sense that you've got files on your computer, but they don't affect the screen, the reality, unless you open the file. So you go through life and these files don't affect you. But there are certain ways that you can open these files and then bring that perception, that attitude, that behavior, that personality of that file onto the screen. In other words, in the way people behave in everyday life. And they do this through the secret society ritual. This is why they'll target someone. The person won't realize what they've been targeted. They might think that, they just think I'm good and they're supporting me and sponsoring me. Powerful people suddenly sponsor people to progress very quickly in law or politics or stuff. People like Blair's a classic. And then as they progress through this sponsorship and support, they get pulled into the secret society network as all part of it, and then they go through the secret society initiation rituals, which often they have not a clue what they're about. They're just rituals, it's just tradition. But what's happening is these rituals are designed to tease open these files, which they know they've got because they've got the bloodline, right? And then as these files open, so they have more and more effect on the personality, the screen of the person involved, and their personality changes. And you watch, and there's classic examples you can see around the world. You watch people who, for instance, come into politics with a certain, sometimes genuine desire to change things. And then eventually, as they progress into power, they become absolutely everything that they entered politics to challenge. And it's not always for this reason, but many times it is this reason, that as these genetic files have been opened more and more and more,